My girlfriend said, "My friends think you're a joke." I replied, "Hope they think this is funny." Then I packed my stuff, called a truck, and moved out while she partied in Vegas. When she came home, she found empty rooms, a note on the fridge, and a new problem she couldn't laugh off. Welcome to Family Tales. Today's story is about a girlfriend who called her boyfriend a joke right before a girls' trip, and he quietly moved out while she was gone. As you listen, ask yourself what you would do the moment respect turns into public humiliation. If I had $1 for every time my girlfriend Chloe called me safe, I could have retired years ago. Instead, I was 29, a senior data analyst, paying 80% of the rent on a downtown apartment we couldn't afford. Also she, 27, could find her passion. For 2 years, I invested in us like it was a long-term plan. I was the stable one, the rock, the person who fixed problems before they became disasters. I paid off the $8,000 in credit card debt she accidentally racked up just to give her a fresh start. I funded her failed Etsy store. Custom resin art keychains. It barely made any sales, but I acted like it was a business in the making. I came home every night around 6, cooked dinner, and listened to her complain about how the world didn't get her. At first, safe sounded like a compliment. Then it became a dirty word. The shift started when she fell in with a new friend group led by a woman named Jessica. Jessica was a walking collection of toxic trends. Everything was high-value men, provider energy, and 6-figure alphas. My job, the same job that let Chloe explore her dream of the week without drowning, suddenly became embarrassing to her. Micro-commentary. When new friends make your partner feel superior for looking down on you, the relationship becomes a performance, not a partnership. I got my first real taste of it at a pre-Vegas dinner for Chloe's upcoming girls' trip. We were all out together, and of course I was paying. Jessica was talking about her new guy, some crypto bro who leased a McLaren. She was bragging like she'd won a contest. Then Jessica turned slightly toward me, like she just remembered I existed. "You should get into crypto, Mark," she said, not even looking at my face, just saying it into the air. "I prefer to invest in things I can actually quantify," I said, trying to keep it light. Jessica made this little laugh, not loud, just enough to be insulting. "That's cute," she said. "It's almost like you enjoy being on the financial sidelines." Then she turned to Chloe like I wasn't there. "You need a man who plays the game," she said, "not just spectates." I waited. I actually waited for Chloe to defend me, even one sentence. Even a joke that made it clear she was on my side. Chloe forced a laugh and looked away. "Oh, Mark," she said, like I was being silly. "Don't be so literal. Jessica just means you're very practical." Practical was the new safe. And the look they shared told me everything I needed to know. I wasn't her partner in that moment. I was her court jester. The boring ATM she kept around because bills don't pay themselves. Micro-commentary, silence can be louder than insults. When your partner won't defend you, they're choosing a side. Thursday night came fast, the night before her trip. Her bags were packed for Vegas. Sequins, new outfits, and that new version of myself, energy spread across the bed I paid for. She was on her phone, texting furiously, smiling in a way she hadn't smiled at me in months. "Chloe," I said from the doorway, "we need to talk." She let out an aggressive sigh, the kind that says I was ruining her evening by existing. "God, can you not do this right now?" she said. "I'm trying to get into Vegas mode. You're such a buzzkill." "A buzzkill," I repeated because my brain had to catch up. I stepped in a little, keeping my voice low. "That dinner last week," I said. "The way Jessica talks to me and the way you let her, that's not right." Chloe stood up and something in her face changed. The bubbly, ambitious dreamer I fell for disappeared. What was left looked cold and sure of itself. "You want honesty," she said. "Fine." My stomach went tight. She put her hands on her hips. "My friends think you're a joke," she said, "and honestly, they're not wrong." I just stared at her. My hands felt numb, like all the blood left them at once. "A joke," I managed. "Yes, Mark," she snapped. "A joke. You're safe." You're predictable. You're the nice guy who finishes the spreadsheet. You are not the one who closes the deal." She kept going, her voice getting sharper. "My friends are meeting men who own the company," she said. "Not just analyze its data." I didn't recognize her. Or maybe I did, and I'd just been refusing to. "And you," I said quietly, "you agree with them." It wasn't a question. I could hear it in her tone. Chloe grabbed her carry-on and zipped it up like she was sealing the conversation shut. "I just need to be around winners for a few days," she said, smug like she'd said something wise. "I need to breathe." Then she pushed past me, grabbed her purse, and headed for the door. "I'll see you Sunday," she said. "Don't wait up." At the door she paused and kissed the air near my cheek. Not even a real kiss, just a gesture like checking a box. The door clicked shut. I heard the elevator ding down the hall. She was gone. I stood in that bedroom for 10 minutes without moving. The apartment buzzed with silence. Her words replayed like a loop. A joke. And then something happened. It wasn't rage, it wasn't even heartbreak. It was clarity, clean and sharp. She didn't dump me. She didn't have the courage to end it properly. She just confirmed she had zero respect for me, then left for a long weekend expecting me to be there when she got back, like a loyal dog, like the joke she'd decided I was. Micro commentary: some breakups don't start with yelling. They start with a moment where you finally stop making excuses. The funny thing about jokes is that they have to end. I walked to my desk, sat down, and opened my laptop like I was clocking in for work. First, I pulled up the lease agreement, the PDF from 18 months ago. Then I opened my banking app. 2 years of transfers, rent, utilities, dinners, Vegas fund, Etsy supplies, random emergencies. I looked at the utility bills all in my name, the furniture receipts all on my credit card. I wasn't her boyfriend. I was her primary investor, and she had just declared emotional bankruptcy, so I did what I do when something is broken. I isolated the issue, then I removed it. I picked up my phone and called my friend Sam. "Sam," I said, my voice level, "you free this weekend? And do you still have the keys to your brother's moving truck?" Sam paused. "Yeah, why?" "I'm upgrading my whole life," I said. "Chloe just left for Vegas. She told me I'm a joke. I'm moving out while she's gone." There was a long pause, then Sam let out a slow whistle. "Okay," he said. "That's epic. I'll be there in an hour. We're going to need boxes and beer." We started Friday morning. Sam recruited 2 of his beefiest gym buddies, and they showed up like this was a mission. While Chloe was probably ordering her first Vegas mimosa, we moved through the apartment like a silent, efficient machine. I took only what was mine: my clothes, my books, my entire PC setup, my toothbrush, the bed I paid for, disassembled and loaded in 10 minutes. The sofa, mine. The 65-inch TV I bought with my Christmas bonus, mine. The pots, pans, good knives, air fryer, espresso machine, mine. I even unhooked the smart bulbs I bought and replaced them with the original dim yellow ones the apartment came with. By 4 p.m., the place was hollow. It echoed. All that was left was her stuff: mountains of clothes, makeup, half-finished canvases, and the oversized gold leaf floor mirror she and Jessica had to have, bought on my credit card. I left it. It felt fitting that she'd have something big to stare at herself in. At 4:30, I made my last call, the landlord. "Hi," I said calmly. "I'm calling to give notice for apartment 12B. I've moved out." He sounded confused. "Mark, the lease isn't up for 6 months." "I understand," I said. "I'm forfeiting the security deposit. I'm also sending my half of the lease break penalty right now. The other tenant, Chloe, will be responsible for her half and the full rent moving forward as of today." I sent the payment while he was still sputtering. Then I followed up with a formal email. I didn't care about the money. It was a cheap price for freedom. My last act was to write a note on a sticky pad and place it on the fridge. "Hope they think this is funny too." Then I walked out and locked the door for the last time. Before Chloe's plane even landed, I was in a new apartment across town. Smaller, but nicer. A simple 3-month lease. I sat on my sofa in my new living room and opened my phone. I blocked Chloe. I blocked Jessica. I blocked the whole friend group. I changed my voicemail greeting to something generic. Then I ordered a pizza and slept for 10 solid hours. I didn't hear the explosion. I only felt the shock wave later. Sam got the play-by-play through mutual friends. Chloe came home Sunday night. Tan, hungover, and probably broke from whatever high-value bottle service table she thought would change her life. She walked into a dark, empty apartment. Her first call, according to Sam, wasn't to me. It was to 911. She reported a robbery. 2 cops showed up, walked through the echoing rooms, saw her belongings still there, and then saw the sticky note on the fridge. "Ma'am," one of them apparently said, "this looks like a breakup. This is a civil dispute." Then they left. Micro commentary: the moment consequences arrive. People who love drama suddenly want rules and fairness. The second wave hit Monday morning. The landlord informed her she was now solely responsible for the full monthly rent. He also reminded her she still owed her half of the lease break penalty. The third wave was Vegas karma. The high-value men Jessica lined up were club promoters. They got them free entry, then stuck them with a huge bar tab. Chloe came home broke, hungover, and expecting to land on her safe boyfriend. The ATM was no longer in service. She couldn't reach me, so she started blowing up Sam's phone. Sam let them go to voicemail and played them for me over a beer. Voicemail 1, panic. "Sam, where is he? Where is Mark? He's not answering. Someone broke in. They stole everything. The sofa, the bed. He took the coffee maker. What am I supposed to do?" Voicemail 2, rage. "You tell Mark I'm calling a lawyer. He can't just leave. He abandoned me. He owes me. He's a coward. This is sociopathic. He thinks this is funny." Voicemail 3, desperation in the middle of the night. "Sam, please, I don't know who else to call." The landlord called. "I can't pay the rent. Jessica isn't answering. None of them are. I'm sitting on the floor and I'm scared. I didn't mean it. I was stressed. Please tell him to call me." Sam looked at me after the last one. "Dude," he said, "that's rough. You going to call her?" I opened the number in Sam's call log, stared at it for a second, and tapped block. "No," I said, "I'm not." The next 3 months were a blur of forward momentum. I leaned into the joke of my boring analyst job. I took on a complex AI modeling project no one else wanted, and I crushed it so hard they gave me a 20% raise and moved me onto the data science and AI strategy team. I started using the gym in my building. I slept. I read again. I stopped living in a constant state of managing someone else's emotions. I started breathing. I heard Chloe got evicted. She couldn't find a roommate, couldn't afford the rent, and couldn't pay the penalty. She moved back in with her parents in the suburbs, and Jessica and the high-value friend group ghosted her completely. As soon as her provider was gone, Chloe stopped being fun. She became inconvenient. In their eyes, she became the joke. The irony was almost painful. Then came the family calls. An unknown number rang one afternoon. "Mark, honey," a voice said. "It's Karen, Chloe's mom." Her tone was fake sweet, like she was calling to check on a sick relative. "Hello, Karen," I said flatly. "I'm not sure why you're calling me." "Oh, Mark," she said, the fake crying starting. "Chloe is not herself. She's been crying for weeks. Those girls were toxic. She didn't mean those things. She loves you. She needs you." I waited in silence. Karen pushed harder. "Can't you just talk to her? This is all so embarrassing for her." Embarrassing. Not devastating, not heartbreaking. Embarrassing. That's when I understood the family system. Everything was image. Everything was appearance. "Karen," I said, cold and professional, "what Chloe did was for her. What I did was for me. Please don't call this number again." I hung up and blocked her. A week later, I got a message request on LinkedIn. It was from Jessica. She wrote like she was a judge. "Hey, Mark. I think what you did to Chloe was really cruel. She's at rock bottom. You made your point. You destroyed her. As the bigger man, you should reach out and help her get back on her feet. It's the least you can do after humiliating her." I stared at it. I thought about all the things I could say. Then I typed one word. "No," and I blocked her. Micro commentary. Notice how the people who mock you never ask you what you needed. They only ask you to keep paying the cost. A year passed. My life was unrecognizable. My job was challenging and fulfilling. I was in the best shape of my life. I wasn't living around someone else's moods anymore. And I met someone. Her name was Anna. She was an architect, brilliant, wickedly funny, and kind in a way that didn't require me to earn it by sacrificing myself. She actually liked my nerd jokes. She respected my work. She treated me like a partner, not a resource. That's how we ended up at the City Tech Gala. A black tie awards dinner. My AI project had won a small industry award, and my company had a table. I wore a perfectly tailored tux. Anna wore a deep blue dress that made the whole room feel less loud. We were laughing, actually laughing, as she told me a story about a client who wanted a modern Tuscan and brutalist hybrid house that sounded like a nightmare. "I'll be right back," I said, kissing her shoulder. "Let me grab us more champagne." I made my way to the crowded bar, and that's when I saw Chloe. The contrast was sharp enough to sting. She wasn't a guest. She was working as a brand ambassador, handing out tiny samples of an energy drink from a tray. Her dress looked cheap and too red for the event. Her makeup was heavy, like it was trying to cover exhaustion. The Vegas glow was long gone, our eyes locked. Her fake smile dropped like it had been unplugged. She abandoned her tray and started pushing through the crowd toward me. She cornered me near the bar, breathing fast. "Mark," she said. "Oh my God, you look wow." Her eyes were raking over me, hungry in a way that made my skin crawl. "Chloe," I said simply. I nodded like I'd run into an old coworker. "Mark, please," she rushed. "I'm so sorry, I was an idiot. Those friends, that whole life, it was fake, it was all just a joke. You were the only real thing I ever had." I didn't say, "I'm sorry." I didn't say, "That's awful." I didn't say anything comforting. "I have to get back to my table," I said, turning slightly. "No, wait," she said and grabbed my sleeve. That old entitlement flashed like she couldn't help herself. "I'm back at my mom's," she said. "I lost everything. Jessica is gone. Everyone is gone, don't you see? I learned my lesson. I'm in therapy. I've changed. We can be happy again." I didn't pull away fast. I just looked down at her hand on my sleeve, with enough cold indifference that she removed it like she'd touched something hot. "So that's it," she demanded, and the desperation started turning sour. "You destroyed my life and you're happy. You get to walk away. I'm a joke to you now. Is that it?" I paused, and for the first time I almost smiled. "You've got it wrong, Chloe," I said quietly. "You're not a joke to me." A tiny flicker of hope lit her eyes. "You're not anything to me," I said. "You're just the person who used to live in my old apartment." Her face collapsed, like she'd been erased. Then a warm voice slid in beside me. "Hey," Anna said, looping her arm through mine. "I got us a table on the terrace. Is everything okay?" My entire face changed. My shoulders softened. I smiled, real and warm. "Everything is perfect," I told her. I looked back at Chloe once. She was staring at Anna like she didn't understand how reality could move on without her permission. "Excuse us," I said to Chloe, polite like a hotel clerk. "Enjoy the rest of your shift." I put my hand on the small of Anna's back and we walked away. I didn't look back. I didn't need to. On the terrace, the cool night air hit my face and I felt something settle in my chest. Peace. I couldn't even remember the exact joke Chloe and her friends used to make about me. It didn't matter. It wasn't my life anymore. Lesson 1: if your partner lets their friends disrespect you, they're disrespecting you too. Lesson 2: being safe is not an insult. It only becomes one when someone is using you. Lesson 3: when someone tells you who they are with cruelty, believe them the first time. Lesson 4: the cleanest breakup is often the quiet one. No speeches, just action. Lesson 5: the best revenge is building a life where you don't even miss the chaos. What would you have done after hearing, "My friends think you're a joke"? Would you have stayed and tried to earn respect, or would you have left while they were gone? And have you ever been with someone who treated stability like weakness?